Have you ever wondered what really happens when the doors of the Sistine Chapel close and the world holds its breath, waiting for that puff of white smoke? That's the moment history is made, when 1.4 billion Catholics welcome a new spiritual father. In 2025, that moment arrived with a surprise, a name the world had never heard in this role before: Pope Leo XIV. The first pope from the United States. But what made the 2025 conclave impossible to ignore? Welcome to Jesus in My Heart, where we explore powerful stories of faith and spirituality. Today, we're diving into the 10 most searched questions about Pope Leo XIV and the 2025 conclave, a moment that's taken social media by storm. From his incredible journey to some little-known secrets inside the Vatican, we're breaking it all down. Ready? Let's jump into the first question. Question 1. Was Cardinal Robert Francis Prevost made a cardinal in 2023 or 2025? Picture this. You're watching the news, and they say the new pope was made a cardinal just months before being elected. Seems unlikely, right? The truth is, Robert Francis Prevost was made a cardinal on May 30th, 2023, in a consistory announced earlier that month by Pope Francis on May 9th. At the time, he was serving as prefect of the dicastery for bishops. There's no official record of a 2025 appointment. So, where's the confusion coming from? Likely from the sudden conclave that followed Pope Francis's death on April 21, 2025. Prevost had been a missionary in Peru, living among the Quechua people, someone known for deep humility. Maybe that authenticity helped him stand out to the cardinals in the voting room. Question 2. Was Pope Leo XIV the youngest cardinal in the 2025 conclave? Some headlines called him the Vatican's young star. But let's look at the facts. Robert Francis Prevost was born in 1955, making him 69 years old in 2025. So, no, he wasn't the youngest. That title actually went to Mieczysław Bichok, a 45-year-old Eastern Catholic bishop from Australia with Ukrainian roots. Bichok brought a dynamic energy to the conclave, but in the end, Prevost's quiet strength and listening heart carried the day. He once said, "I came to listen." That simple phrase may have resonated deeply in a church searching for direction. This conclave reminded us, it's not just about age, it's about spirit, service, and vision. If the mix-ups surrounding Pope Leo XIV have you intrigued, just wait, because this next question takes us to a truly historic moment that captured the world's imagination. Here on Jesus in My Heart, we're continuing our journey through the 10 most searched questions about Pope Leo XIV and the 2025 conclave, a moment that didn't just change the Church, it touched the soul of humanity. Question 3. Why did the 2025 conclave draw so much attention? Imagine standing outside the Sistine Chapel, where 133 cardinals from every continent gathered to pray and vote. This was the first papal conclave since 2013, and the largest in history, with 80% of the electors appointed by Pope Francis, many representing the global South, from Africa to Asia. And then, Pope Leo XIV, the first pope from the United States, a man whose heart was shaped by years of missionary work in Peru. Just before the white smoke appeared, a flock of seagulls landed on the Sistine chimney. Some say it was a sign. Then, the moment. White smoke rose, and Rome erupted in joy. This conclave wasn't just about choosing a leader. It sent a message loud and clear. The Catholic Church is a bridge, not a wall. Question 4. How was security and secrecy ensured during the conclave? The Sistine Chapel turned into a sacred fortress. The cardinals were cut off from the outside world. No phones, no recording devices, no outside communication. Signal jamming tech made sure there were no leaks. Even innocent-looking items like pastries or glassware were restricted. Anything that could hide a message was removed. Every cardinal took an oath of secrecy, and breaking it meant automatic excommunication. The result? Total silence. Even the world's most powerful leaders didn't know who the new pope was until they saw the smoke. That's how sacred and protected this process is. Question 5. How did the voting process work? The cardinals held up to 4 ballots a day, and to be elected, a candidate needed 2/3 of the vote, 89 out of 133. If 3 days passed without a result, voting paused for prayer and reflection. But in 2025, things moved fast. From May 7th to May 8th, the decision was made. Cardinal Robert Francis Prevost was elected Pope Leo XIV, becoming the 267th pope in history. Were there secrets behind those chapel doors? We'll get to that, so stay with us, because what comes next might surprise you. The story of the 2025 conclave keeps getting more powerful. And here on Jesus in My Heart, we're not finished yet. From the Vatican's sacred rules to the moment the world saw white smoke, every detail reveals something deeper. But how did the public experience this moment? And what happened right after? Let's keep going with the next 3 questions and take one step closer to the heart of the Church. Question 6. How did the public follow the conclave's outcome? Millions gathered in St. Peter's Square, eyes locked on the chimney above the Sistine Chapel. Black smoke? No pope yet. White smoke? A new shepherd had been chosen. On May 8, 2025, the world saw white smoke signaling the election of Pope Leo XIV. But that cloud wasn't just ordinary smoke. It was created using a precise blend of chemicals: potassium chlorate and lactose for white smoke, potassium perchlorate, and anthracene for black. Vatican technicians made sure the signal was unmistakable. The moment that white smoke appeared, the crowd erupted. Joy, cheers, tears. It was a spiritual release the whole world felt. But what made it even more magical? Let's take a look. Question 7. Did pop culture influence the conclave? Surprisingly, yes. Hollywood made its mark. The Oscar-winning film Conclave had become a popular reference for understanding the election process. But when the real conclave happened, the spotlight shifted to nature. A flock of seagulls perched on the Sistine chimney, just as they did during the 2013 conclave, and this time they were joined by a gray pigeon. The moment went viral on the Vatican livestream, and social media lit up with reactions. It was a light, almost whimsical moment in an otherwise solemn process, and somehow it made the mystery feel more human, more connected, reminding us that God can speak even through small signs. Question 8. What were Pope Leo XIV's first words? On May 8, 2025, the newly elected Pope stepped out onto the balcony of St. Peter's Basilica. With the world watching, he simply said, "Peace to all of you." He repeated it softly, and the words echoed across the square, a reflection of Jesus' own greeting after the resurrection. Then, Pope Leo XIV spoke of reconciliation and hope, and for a moment, the massive crowd fell into a profound, almost sacred silence. It wasn't just a speech. It was a blessing that touched hearts around the globe. But was everything about this conclave business as usual? Not quite. Our next question reveals something most people never expected. We've reached the final questions in our journey on Jesus in My Heart, where the story of Pope Leo XIV and the 2025 Conclave truly comes alive. From his peaceful first words to the symbolic moments atop the Sistine Chapel, every detail has touched hearts across the world. But was everything as expected behind those closed doors? And what does this historic election mean for his home country? Let's uncover the last two questions and bring this powerful story to a close. Question 9. Were there any unusual events or breaches of protocol in the conclave? Yes, and one moment stood out. Cardinal John Njoroge of Kenya, though eligible, didn't attend the conclave. The reason? Reports suggested he never received a formal invitation. The Vatican maintained that notice had been sent, but the incident raised eyebrows and sparked conversation about conclave procedures and communication. Despite that, the conclave followed strict protocols. All participating cardinals took a solemn oath of secrecy. Electronics were banned, and items like pastries or glassware were prohibited to prevent hidden messages. Any breach of these rules could result in automatic excommunication, a clear message that the process had to remain pure, prayerful, and protected. Question 10. How does Pope Leo XIV impact the Catholic Church in the U.S.? For over 70 million American Catholics, the election of Pope Leo XIV is deeply meaningful. Born in Chicago, but transformed through decades of missionary work in Peru, Pope Leo XIV brings a unique blend of American roots and global humility. His papal name, Leo, may be a nod to Pope Leo XIII, a champion of social justice and workers' rights. That choice could signal his desire to bridge divisions in a deeply polarized world, including in the United States. Though Pope Leo XIV hasn't yet spoken directly about American politics or social issues, his tone of reconciliation, peace, and listening already resonates. He may well become a voice of unity, one that speaks not from a place of power, but from a place of shared humanity. The 2025 Conclave wasn't just a religious milestone. It became a global symbol of hope, reminding us that the Church isn't built on thrones. It lives in the hearts of the faithful, the forgotten, and the broken. Pope Leo XIV, with his quiet strength and his message of peace, brings a light the world desperately needs. From seagulls on the Sistine Chimney to a crowd breathless under white smoke, this moment will be remembered as a bridge, not just for Catholics, but for all of humanity. Thank you for joining us here on Jesus in My Heart. If this story moved you, share your thoughts and stay with us as we continue to seek spiritual light in every corner of the world.